to another Chicks on the Right deep dive episode of our podcast. We're diving right in to a very interesting topic this week. Apparently, there is somebody who has been paying attention to us on Twitter. I don't know that for sure. It just sounds like they've been paying attention to us on Twitter. And we're going to get into that and why it is fascinating to us as soon as we tell you about our friends at Acre Gold. Acre Gold is where we get our bars of gold for safekeeping right here at home. In my own safe is where I keep mine, unless I'm showing it on our podcast, in which case I have it in my grubby little hand.
And her grubby hands.
This particular bar is 2.5 grams. You can also subscribe or do a layaway program to their 5-gram bar or their 10-gram bar, depending on what subscription level you choose, either $50, $100, or $250 a month. And then as you earn these bars of gold, they just send them to you. And you can
Those are like the 10-gram ones must be like Flava Flav size. They have to be so giant. I need to get some of those. Like I have the 2.52. I want the 10-gram just so I can feel like a rap star. You know what I mean? Like, and I want to wear it either as a necklace and then get the 2.5 as earrings because I like gold. Nice. You're a silver girl, but I do like me some gold. Very excited
I like
about
gold
that.
In my safe.
You do.
I like it in my safe.
Do.
And in my financial portfolio. And the reason for that is because it's just a way to diversify. And you always like to have a lot of eggs in a lot of baskets, right? Not just all eggs in one basket. You need multiple baskets. And this makes a very pretty basket, I have to say.
She's all about the baskets, you guys. Diversified and basketified and grubby. She likes to be all those things.
So check them out. You're going to see why we love them as soon as you hit their website and see how easy it is to diversify. Just go to getacregold.com/chicks.
Yes, do it.
So you came across a very interesting thread on the Twitter machine. Yeah. And this Twitter thread was written just like a week ago or so. And the account is called Wokal Distance, WOKAL Distance. And it is like a 14-part tweet thread about the new Republicanism, if you will. Right. And it's an interesting thread. We're not going to read it like verbatim, but there are some interesting points made in it that we have been talking about for years.
Yes. I mean, the first tweet, just to kind of kick it off, he did say, or she, I don't know it could be it could be a transgender. I don't know. This person could be an alien. This thing, I don't know what this thing. I don't know who Wokal Distance is. I have no clue. I would love this individual, this entity to show his or herself because I feel like we have a lot in common with this individual, don't you? Because we've been saying a lot of these things, like you say, over the past 14 years. The first tweet was the new Republican will require a new fusionism. The 80s Reaganism was fiscal conservatives, small government, social conservatives, and foreign policy interventionism. This is dead. There must be a new... There must be a new fusionism. That fusionism will look like a multi-ethnic pro-family coalition. It will move the family back to the center of policy. This means libertarian economics loosens its grip on conservative policymaking. Pro-family displaces small government at the center of policymaking.
So that was the time.
Those are the first two.
Now
is
the time.
Yeah, agreed. And we talk about that a lot because liberals have come in and they have smashed the family. Like they've just been like, they have crapped all over the family unit. Like that's not important. Men are not important. Families are not important. They've emasculated men to the point where like, I don't even know if there are any, like men are endangered. We've talked about that ad nauseum. There are like, I look around and I'm like, are there any balls are non-existent. Like they're just, seriously.
We only have these. This is all we got now. These tiny, itty bitty little balls.
And I'm afraid if you took those out of there and you blew on them, they'd just be dust. They would just be dust. Seriously, they are emasculated, and it's because liberals have done that. And so family is at the center of this, right? And it's pro-America, pro-family, and they reject the notion that America is inherently evil, racist, sexist, or bigoted. The New Right Coalition think America is a good thing and that it ought to continue. Like it is pro-America. We've always said this, like America's awesome. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's not like where they, the left is always saying that it's bad to think America is good. And this is what they've taught our kids for the past 20 years. And now you have all these America hating kids that come out of college and they're like, America sucks. This is the thing.
And did you see all those videos? There was like a montage of TikToks that I saw on Twitter over the weekend, yesterday, specifically on the 4th of July. Yeah. And oh my gosh, it was just one after the other saying, is it just me, or did Trump ruin the American flag for you? Now, every time I see it, I'm just disgusted. I want no part of it. I'm not going to celebrate the 4th of July because America's awful. Women can't kill their babies anymore. I mean, it was just crazy.
God. That's just, you know what that is? That's such a narcissistic way of viewing the world. To me, that's just like a me, which is so indicative of how everybody is now. It's just so me. It's all about me. And like, I view the world and me, and it's like, seriously, because the American flag stands for so much more than just you and your ability to kill your kid.
Right.
Like it's so much more than that. And it's like, there was a guy, what I did see this past weekend was actually I didn't see it. I heard it. And so the audio is probably that much more powerful, but it was like 100-year-old. He was 99 or 100. Did you hear it?
100. He just 100-year-old.
Yeah. And he was crying because, and he was a World War II veteran, right? Mm. He was crying because of the just what he fought for, what he's seen, what he's gone through. And he's just like, was it worth it? Because he looks at the state of the country today. And I was in the car with my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, and she's like, Mom, why is he crying? And I'm like, because this generation is so freaking ungrateful. Right. And that sweet old man, like, he has seen some stuff and he's done the stuff, and he was from the greatest generation. And like, the things that he did, there are kids today who are just, they're so ungrateful and they have no idea what America is all about, and they will never understand it like that man understands it. And that is what his heart is broken, honey. He's crying because his heart is broken. And it broke my heart to hear him cry. And so they're gone. A generation is gone after, the next couple years, they're all going to be gone.
Yeah.
And so I look at that and I think this is why when I saw this tweet, I thought we have to, it's not even a return to, tradition. It's more of a rebirth of understanding what is important in this country and what the founders wanted.
Yeah.
And why people can't see that, why they can't see that there's like a total destruction of our country happening right now, like an implosion happening. It's unbelievable how a lot of people can't see that occurring, like right before our eyes. You can't see that we're destroying ourselves from within. And the only way to
and all of those selfish people who you were saying are just like me, that's all they care about. So many of the ones that are making those videos saying, if I could leave this country, I would. If I could go somewhere else, I would. And America sucks. America's not free, blah, blah, blah. All these people are contributing to the very destruction that sweet old man was referring to. By hating on their own country, they're contributing to its downfall. And they're too dumb to even realize it. And so this whole thread from Local Distance talks a lot about family and how the results of the Virginia election were proof positive that that's what people care about now.
Yes.
If we just return to issues that parents care about, which is the well-being of their kid, the education of their kid, if we can focus on that and keep and not preach to people, because religion is important to some people, but not all. And so if you can do that without forcing a specific religion at people, I think you get a lot further,
Yeah. I don't think that people did that though, even 20, 30 years ago. I never felt like people were preached to, like in the 80s. Do you think that people were preached to? I don't know.
I don't even know that they are now, except by the most, like, super social conservatives, right? The ones who base their fundamental belief system in its entirety on everything that they read in the Bible, which is fine. I have no problem with that, as long as they can make a case for their views without referring to a Bible verse, because that's not going to affect everybody the same way. And that's what we wrote about that in our book back in 2014, that if you want to capture hearts and minds, you can't always use religion, because you're talking to people who don't share your faith. So you have to be able to say, here's why this is right, without it being about religion. You know what I mean?
I think, I totally know what you mean. I think abortion is one of those things, because there are a lot of people, and I don't think, the pro-choicers really understand this, because they'll argue and say, oh, it's the religious zealots that believe in pro-life. No, you are simply wrong, because there are a lot of people who believe in the sanctity of life who are nowhere near religious people. I mean, they just understand right from wrong. There are atheists and agnostic people who believe in the sanctity of life, who just believe in not murdering your freaking kid because they know right from wrong. You can have this conversation with people without having religion put into it. And so you can do that. You can totally do that.
And
I think that's what, yes, you absolutely should. Yeah.
And you should also buy stuff from MyPillow.
You should.
Especially now, because they still have, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but they still have their blowout sale on their slippers and moccasins, which are to die for because of the squeezy kitten fur technology. I saw Mike Lindell on a TV ad over the weekend, and he was talking about how the slippers, they're so comfortable because they have these 4 layers of different materials and stuff. And not once did he mention the squeezy kitten fur.
I was going to say, this is the thing. We need to call him and be like, don't you know it's squeezy kitten fur? Hello.
Has no one told you?
I mean, we know that. It should be trademarked.
But regardless of whether he knows about the squeezy kitten for technology or not, that is what it feels like when these suckers are around your feet. And there's a huge, massive sale on them right now. If you go to mypillow.com/chicks, use code chicks, you'll also get a copy of his book thrown in with your order. Now is the time to stockpile, because once they're gone, they are gone. I don't know how quickly they'll be putting them together again, and how what the next time is that they'll have them on this mega sale. So get them while you can. mypillow.com/chicks.
Another thing that I think is very important from this woke distance that he said, that you and I have always talked about, is it was like, this was his 11th tweet, and it said, social conservatives shouldn't take their ball and go home if they don't get everything they want. Yes. Now, you have a really great analogy that you've always used when we were on the radio, and that is like the ice cream scoop analogy.
Yes.
And you could tell people what that is for people who don't know what it is.
So I've used it a couple times when there's been, usually I've used it when there's been a vote, for example, Republicans,
legislation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When there's been some piece of legislation that's up for a vote, and because it doesn't include 100% of what Republicans want, a whole bunch of people don't vote on it, right? So it has like 50% of what they want, but it doesn't have everything. And so they don't vote yes. And I'm always just like, but why just take the one scoop of ice cream? And it sucks that you didn't get the double scoop that you ordered, but why would you turn away one whole scoop in favor of 0 scoops? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Because we're that much farther to eating some ice cream. And ice cream is good for everybody. Everybody likes ice cream. I mean, except for some people who are lactose intolerant. But still, ice cream, for the most part, is pretty good for everybody. And so it is really frustrating. And conservatives, and that goes for just mindset on a lot of things, because, like you and I have experienced over the past 14 years, we will say stuff like, you'll say something negative about Trump, and people will be like, I'm leaving. I'm not going to listen to you anymore because you said one bad thing about Trump, and so I'm leaving. Okay, well, take your damn ball, go home already then, because you're a baby. You're a big fat baby. You're acting like a toddler, and I can't deal with you. We're not adults here. Be a freaking adult and learn to compromise, learn to get along, learn to have healthy discussions about things, because we're not all going to agree on everything. Mm-hmm. That's life. That's politics. That's just being a human being living and like coexisting in the world with other people. You need to learn to do that. And conservatives have always had a rough time doing that with other conservatives, more so, I think, than even Democrats do. Democrats are like, welcome to the party, come on in. And they welcome people. We've watched them do that. Whereas conservatives are like, you have to be this way, exactly this way, and you have to believe this exact way in order for you to be a real conservative, or you're not a real conservative, and you're a rhino, or you're this, or you're that. And it's like, I can't with you. You know, I can't. And so I just did that, and people will say I'm a terrible person because I just, you know what I mean?
Flipped the bird, and so you're not a real conservative.
Right. We'll get emails for that. We really will. Like, we totally will. And it drives me crazy because, you know what? Guess what? I am a real conservative because I've been in the trenches for 14 years, and you can bite me. So that kind of stuff bothers me because people like to label people within our party and say, you're this, you're that, you're not conservative enough, or you're only this conservative. It's like, how about you just let everybody be together and work together and join the party and sit at the table, no matter what they look like, who they are, what they sound like, what you think they are, and just stop labeling people. Stop putting degrees of conservatism on them and let them just be freaking conservative. They say they're conservative, you know? Drives me crazy.
Absolutely. And I love that was part of, like, that was kind of the conclusion of Wokel Distance's giant diatribe, is that it was about social conservatives in particular having, like, always putting everybody to this purity test, right? And how we need to get away from that. So one of the things that he says is, if social conservatives cannot purity spiral on abortion, small government, and fiscal conservatives can't purity spiral on fiscal issues. Everybody's got to give a little bit, and then we can all have the ice cream, right?
Yeah. Yes, we can all have the ice cream if we do that. Just let people sit at the damn table.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. You know? I mean, unless you're Mitt Romney, in which case I don't want you at my table.
Or Liz Cheney.
Yeah, you don't get to sit at our table if you're those people. But
we do have some standards.
I mean, we do. But everybody else is welcome. Those people can go blow. But everybody else can come sit at the table and have all the ice cream. You know what I mean?
That's right. Because ice cream, even just one scoop of ice cream, is flat awesome, you guys.
Right.
There's
actually,
no
we don't call it ice cream. We call it Camp Tono.
That's right.
Totally. Yes. And this is the thing. And I love that this individual, whoever it is, God, I wish Wokel Distance would call us, but whoever it is, I'm so glad that they said this, because they get it. And we have been screaming it forever, you know? And listen, it goes even as far to say that there are cliques within our party. And I hate that too, because it's high school, man. It's just totally high school. This is why, like, there are people who do what we do who don't talk to us. Because we're like losers. We're losers in the business, right? You and I have been doing this for 14 years, but still, we're not good enough for some of these upper echelon people who, I mean, let's face it, like, we're like the Romy and Michelle probably of the business that we're in some circles, because they're like, I mean, they're just the chicks on the right.
They're unserious.
Right. We're totally unserious. Okay. Whatever. So, but we're still here. We're like cockroaches, baby. We're never going away.
Well, and two, there was another point that I wanted to make sure we mentioned that was part of Wokel Distance's tweet thread, and that was about porn, specifically as it relates to social conservatives who obviously care very deeply about rooting out porn wherever it rears its ugly head, right? No pun intended.
Right.
And so that's one of the other.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So he or she said social conservatives can get legislation making it harder for minors to access porn and make sure human trafficking and prostitution within the porn industry is rooted out and punished.
Amen.
But banning it is out, and we need to stop focusing our attention on something that's that absurd, considering I know there's a whole bunch of social conservatives out there consuming porn. I know. Because there's billions of people visiting those websites on a monthly basis. You can't tell me that social conservatives don't do it. We know better.
Yeah. And meanwhile, there's like women who will be like out there going, let's totally ban porn. And then they're like reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
What? What? What is
Oh my
that
God,
porn?
speaking of which, I know this is off
Yeah.
topic, but do you remember like last year, maybe the year before, we were doing a video and I had just watched that like total softcore porn on Netflix called 365 Days.
365. Yes, yes. You made me watch that. Yeah.
There's a sequel.
No. Is it
Ron
the
and I
same?
watched it when we were in Tennessee. And he didn't mean to watch it because like I was just like, I want to watch this.
He didn't mean to. I'm sure
And he pretended not to. But
yeah. He was like reading a book going.
Totally exactly like that.
He's like, this is terrible and has no plot.
Well, that actually is that's almost true. It has a plot, but the plot is so awful, terrible, bad, awful. And so it's just as bad as the first one. And I would say that the like super kinky parts, the sexy parts of the first one are far better than the second one.
Yeah.
But
so it's
Natalie,
is it like
in Arizona is the one that told me, oh, you got to see the second one because it's out now. And I was like, oh, I'm going to check that out.
Oh my God. So is it like Speed 2? Is it like that? It's that bad?
It's that bad. Yeah.
It's that bad. It's like, yeah. Okay. So is it called 362? What is it called?
It's 365. What is it called?
365 2?
I think something like that.
So it is not called that. It is not. It is not called that.
Like they call it again.
And it's like, so is she kidnapped? We're so on a tangent. Is she kidnapped again? Is she kidnapped again?
Like no, they're married. It starts with them on their wedding day. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
She married her kidnapper.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, everybody's going to be really upset because they're really into the plot. Yeah, okay. That's why they watch it, Mom. But
I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that there will not be a third one unless they have a whole new cast of characters. Spoiler alert again.
Oh, wow. So everybody dies is what I'm hearing. Is that okay? All right.
Yeah. So anyway, I just needed to tell you that probably shouldn't have been included in our actual podcast, but there it is.
So there you go. So basically the bottom line is, we know that some of you guys out there are total kink meisters. We get it. And you and Mock should be friends. That's what I'm saying. And apparently, and Mock's husband too. Apparently, Mock's husband as well.
Well, it was very much against his. He did not want to watch this. He was not okay with watching it. And at the end of it, he was like, "That was the worst movie ever."
Right.
And it was. But you know, there were some good parts.
And then he was like, "What's the actress's name again? I'm gonna Google her and see what other movies she's been in." Image search. No.
I think she's gorgeous, but he was like, she's okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, you didn't think that guy was hot, did you? And I was like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. The guy was, I remember, if it's the guy from the first one, he is. Yeah. He is not entirely terrible to look at.
Right. And they are not terrible to look at together.
Together. That's right.
All I'm saying.
That's right. That's all we're saying. Yeah. What were we doing this podcast on?
We were doing it in part on our good friends at genucell.com.
That's right.
Actually, because if you are engaging in activities of a rare kind of nature, you want to look good. And one way to do that is with Genucell's skincare line, especially the stuff in their most popular package, which is all of the best of everything Genucell. Mm-hmm. And so check it out, because now I don't know when the sale is going to be over, but it's got to be closing in on being over, because they're going for a while now. And I know they can't do this forever because these prices are insanely low.
They are awesome.
65% off or more of the most popular package at genucell.com/chicks, because if you use code chicks at checkout, it's even more of a discount. So get your stuff. You're going to love it. We love it. We've been using it for years. You're going to love it too. genucell.com/chick. weeks.
Yeah, do it. I feel like they forgot about the 65%, so you guys should probably hurry because they're probably going to turn it off like any minute.
Yeah, it's going to be like,
you know
oh my God, we're still talking about
oh crap, we've had this special going for so long. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, so yeah, the purity spiral. I thought that was a really good tweet. You're right. We shouldn't be focusing so much on that. I mean, like the trafficking. Yes, stop that entirely. Stop. There are certain things that we need to stop for sure, like without question. But I totally agree with this person, this local distance. I agree with on so many of the things. Making family the center. I think that that's huge because so many of the things that we fight liberals on, so many of the whack things, like kids going to drag shows. What is wrong with these people? Like so many of the things, the little day-to-day things that we talk about on our show, the decay, the cultural decay. It's stuff where if family was at the forefront, if they were at the center, if that was the nucleus of our party, if we made that the center of our party again, then, I mean, if that was the center of our country really again, then I don't think that we would have a lot of the problems that we have in this country. I honestly don't. I mean, school shootings, stuff like that we talk about all the time, just shootings in general, some of this, like what we saw in Chicago over the weekend. I mean, I just think that a lot of the stuff that we see, a lot of the violence, a lot of the general the general cultural decay in our society, we wouldn't see a lot of that stuff if we put family first.
Right.
And we're just not doing that in our country anymore because if you say that, you look like a total square. You just look like a, I don't know. They make fun of you for saying that family should be at the forefront. It's like, you're not cool, because the alternative family is what's cool now. And how's that working for us?
It's not working.
Right.
Well, and I'm glad to see somebody else saying the things in a very good way. I mean, we would recommend everybody go check out Local Distance on Twitter. Read the whole thread for yourself. It's very concise, very well put together. The thoughts are laid out in this perfect way, and that's why it stuck out to you. That's why it was so interesting to me too.
Right.
And so definitely check it out, and you'll kind of get into our brains a little bit because that's where we are on these issues as well.
Yeah, totally. All right, you guys, check us out on our new website, chicksonright.com. It is fantastic. It's where all things chicks come from. Talk about nucleus. That is our nucleus. You can find everything there. Make sure you bookmark it and go there every single day. And then make sure that you have subscribed to this podcast if you haven't already, and share it with your friends, especially your liberal ones who we can probably brainwash and bring to the other side, to the dark side. We can do that. And then check us out on all the socials, at Chicks on Right. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on all of the socials. And then what have I forgotten, Mark? I've forgotten all sorts of things, I'm sure.
Don't forget also, if you want exclusive content, you can get exclusive insiders and supporters only content at our Facebook Insiders Facebook page and at our locals page, which is chicksontheright.locals.com.
Yes. Until next week, you guys have a fantastic week. Bye.